So Ruslan Provodnikov will be scheduled to return to the ring November 28th in his homeland of Russia, according to Vadim Kornilov, his manager. He says we originally tried to get a fight in the U.S. On HBO for his next fight in the United States, but we couldn't secure a top-level opponent. And but he says, Kornilov says, we are confident Ruslan will be back on HBO on HBO in early 2015 against a top-level opponent. And he says, yeah, we're not disappointed at all. Ruslan, HBO wants Ruslan on their network still, as far as we know, and obviously the fight coming up in Russia won't be on HBO, but HBO still wants him. They just, like I said, he says they couldn't secure an opponent. They couldn't negotiate the right ratio of financial terms and for the opponents being offered by the promoters and the networks. Yeah, Ruslan Provodnikov, his team called out, they tried to get a fight with Brandon Rios, they tried to get a fight with Timothy Bradley rematch, Chris Algieri rematch, before Pacquiao got that fight, Jesse Vargas, Diego Chavez, and they called out Danny Garcia, but all the negotiations failed for all of those fighters, for their promoters and the networks. They couldn't find an agreement for any of those opponents. So pretty much though, the Provodnikov team is not disappointed about this. They said that fighting in Russia will be a very good homecoming fight for Ruslan, since he has gotten a lot of recognition now after that Timothy Bradley war and the victory over Alvarado and all that. So he says it will be Russia's one of the biggest fights in Russia's history, and it's going to be good to see Provodnikov in front of his fans in Russia who can't go to the U.S. to see his fights, can't get a visa. So it will be good for the Russian fans, because Ruslan Provodnikov is Russian, and he says it's very. Ruslan Provodnikov's manager says it's very timely and attractive to fight in Russia. It will be one of the biggest fights in Russian history after the Povetkin versus Klitschko fight. And this fight will be a main event, and it'll be in one of the big arenas in Moscow. So, yeah, Ruslan hasn't fought in Russia in over 3 years, so they decided to go back to Russia and fight in Moscow. But the Ruslan team sure that they will be back the beginning of next year, 2015. They will be back on HBO network, and they'll be in a big fight. So hopefully, yeah, we'll see Ruslan. Hopefully we can see that fight in Russia, whoever he's fighting. His opponent's not named yet, but hopefully we can find that on the internet or something, stream it, or something like that. But anyway, I'm looking forward to Ruslan's next fight, and looking forward to his next fight on HBO early 2015, hopefully against Brandon Rios or a Danny Garcia or a Chris Algieri rematch, something like that. So thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like my videos, and like the video if you like Ruslan Provodnikov. He's a great fighter.